School road, test, school road. Okay, let's see. There is a delay. School road, test.
early. We're back down to updating the Breonna Taylor case. The Justice Department asking federal judge to sentence former Louisville police officer Brett Hankinson to just 1 day in prison after he was convicted of violating Taylor's civil rights in a raid that led to her killing in 2020. The charge Hankinson was convicted on carries a potential maximum life sentence in prison. Louisville's mayor today calling for Hankinson to receive a quote serious prison sentence. Also tonight, some big news for people who vape. The FDA saying that Juul Labs can continue selling e-cigarettes and refill cartridges after wrapping up a multi-year review.
Why isn't RFK on that?
Says that doesn't mean the products are safe or FDA approved. It just means that Juul met the legal standard to market their vape as tobacco products in the U.S. Sad news in the sports world tonight. Felix Baumgartner, the extreme sport athlete, daredevil, and skydiver, died in a paragliding accident in Italy. You might remember him from this moment, his 2012 stuff, when he jumped down to earth from the stratosphere. That was the highest ever free fall. At the time, he was 56 years old. And we're also remembering Connie Francis tonight, the pop powerhouse who topped the charts in the late 50s and early 60s. She was known for hits like Who's Sorry Now and Where the Boys Are, and especially for this one. This past year, her 1962 track Pretty Little Baby suddenly topped the charts after going viral on TikTok. She was also the first solo woman to top the Billboard Top 100. Connie Francis was 87. And when we return, a reminder why the best things in life are free.
Better breathing starts at 5 minutes. Help to reduce your brain fast.
Respirate won't replace a rescue machine for some breathing problems. It is not for asthma. Tell your doctor on a condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Don't take Respirate more than prescribed. Respirate may increase your risk of thrush. Call your doctor at worsening breathing, chest pain, vision changes, or eye pain.
Doctor, not breastfeed. And 4 times the
Sit still. I'm here, right? Ingested, well-being, gas. Today's a unique combination of herbs. Gas helps relieve 6 digestive symptoms. You feel better. 6 digestive symptoms. More of nature. Gas. That's for pepper.
You keep dog food in your fridge.
It's not how food is fresh, but real meaningful veggies.
Dog.
Fresh Pack. Healthy food fresh from the fridge. Which will be to save hundreds of living mutual customers as your car insurance.
That's great, but can you ask your friend to stop digging into the green?
I can ask. Only pay for 2.
One thing never changes. Life never stands still. As your family moves, things just keep getting more interesting. If you learn to roll with it, the only new come home by Ashley. John Morgan, called me on the road. What you're thinking about that?
As training visions and attached to diabetes could slow us down, finding a way. I'm Michael, who will treat that is what you over care. I'm lowering agency. Some weight too. I also learned some people say it's difficult to lower the risk. Maybe it's only to go work at in other states, you know, other work.
Don't care, those are funny stuff. Don't forget to do what can happen. And or this is the process right away. If something's wrong in there, it's a reaction. All higher or severe stomach trouble using the blood pressure sugar. Common side effects include the most FDA approved uses Ozempic.
Take me over there.
You still.
Oh, but
Well, the only thing is making it rich. You still have a food, and ice cream, one birthday one can get.
Let me show you, and we'll give you free good on the birthday.
Full price is for quitters.
Free pretzel, what's the problem? Apple pie, hot pies. Oh, last free to talk about. You got a small orange chicken this year.
Because there's always a deal Clint's alive can help you find.
Look at one part of the six.
Potentially on your first deal.
Always looking for a deal, always looking to save money. Excellent, better raise a couple dollars.
The Wall Street Journal reporting this trend is on the rise. We've looked at many on social media, including for great treats, even meals.
This thing is jungle. Pretty water.
Preparation takes months, and others are making wish lists. Clint is making spreadsheets.
There's no way I could get it all done without the ORA.
So this year's birthday, more than 38 stops, 18,000 steps, and less than $25 spent. But impossible to do alone.
I had to call him out for these birthday rewards.
If it's fun or does it feel like work?
I think it's a lot of fun. Free block, always fantastic.
Clint's goals for next year is more than 40 freebies. But in the meantime, free coffee, he's still cashing in the deals. It's better when it's free.
Oh, everything better than free. Getting strong with birthday wishes.
Camilo Bernal, NBC News, Los Angeles.
It is better when it's free, so true. That's not the news for this Thursday. I'm Tom Gallins. Thanks so much for watching. Tonight and always, we'll hear from you. Thank you.
But where you want to be faithful, start breaking news. Life is here at the today's show.
News for the generation back. It's Candy Food News Net.
With the rugged Nissan Pathfinder and the best-selling Nissan Rogue. Visit Nissan to drive away an award-winning SUV.
Now get 0% APR up to 50 months on select popular models, or get a low $239 per month lease on those.
See them? They watch the AccuWeather forecast.
At the umbrella, there'll be more.
Hey, check this phone. Steve, shows you a picture of the AccuWeather. This just popped up. Summer weather comes at you fast.
You ready for plenty of sunshine?
Really gonna flip the switch here. Severe thunderstorms. Details you can't get from just any.
Potential for a heat wave.
You watch the AccuWeather forecast on Channel 7 Eyewitness News and streaming on ABC 7 New Good.
On the say, there's something that you studios.
That's probably got about, over a million dollars.
Right, her from New York, New York, Marissa Cohen. Not relations professional for that latter, just shared the visual. Please, that day, means go to $262,101.
Had it on the computer.
Oh.
Wait a moment, I just lost it. What happened?
Our champion Scott Riccardi earned official double-digit super champion status.
Yeah, the first guy.
Adriana. It isn't 40. Today, Scott challenges with Chad and Marissa. Good luck, everyone. The Jeopardy round is up first, if you know.
I didn't know.
All right,
No.
5:02, so I think we're gonna get started. I hereby call to order the June 17th, 2025 meeting of the Town of Frisco Planning Commission. Would, Kim, will you please call the roll or attendance?
Lesmus,
Here.
Withrow,
Here.
Homicide, here. Payne. Yeah, we're here, Doug,
Here.
and it looks like Conley, Seville, and Payne are absent.
Okay. The previous planning commission meeting minutes have been distributed. If commissioners have any comments or corrections, please voice them now.
Move
I think-
the minutes.
Okay?
Second.
Any opposed? Seeing none, passes unanimously. Okay, so this is for the public. This is a meeting of the Frisco Planning Commission. Any public comments that anyone in the audience may wish to make on a subject that is not on this evening's agenda may be made now. Citizens making comments should state their name and address for the record, be topic specific, and limit comments to no longer than 3 minutes. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak on something that is not on today's agenda? I see nobody in the chambers. Is there anybody online? Unmute yourself or raise your hand. Seeing none, we are going to move on. At this time, I would like to open the public meeting portion of the Planning Commission agenda. This commission is appointed and serves as an advisory board to the town council. It has certain final authority as identified in the individual staff reports. For each item on the agenda this evening, a staff report will be presented. After the staff report, planning commissioners will ask questions of staff. We will then allow the applicant, if they choose, to make a presentation. After that, the public may comment on the application. So, first item on the agenda is the planning commission to elect officers.
And I will make reference that usually it's once a year, you can be reappointed, there's no term limit. We just, for a formality, need the planning commission, somebody to make a motion and a second and a vote on a chair, and then the same for a vice chair. Mr. Stabile is out tonight, but he did say he's willing to continue to be the vice chair, but he's also happy if somebody would like to step up and do it instead of him. So he can't vote, but he's okay doing it if you wanted him to continue being vice chair.
Okay.
Do you want to stay chair?
I mean, I'm happy to stay chair if nobody else wants to be chair for a year.
Great.
You want to be chair?
Very happy.
I move to retain chair and vice chair as is.
I'll second.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm happy to take care.
And just do a vote after we get them muted.
Okay.
I'll call the roll call, so
Okay.
Kim's got that going on. No, you're good. Withrow?
Here.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
yes. I am here and yes.
That's Miss
Yes.
Forsythe
Yes.
and Day.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is planning file number MAJ-25-0004. A sketch plan review of the major site plan application for a proposed multi-unit dwelling development and CU-25-0001, a conditional use application to allow multi-unit dwellings in the Gateway Zone District located at 80, 86, 92 Beaver Lodge Road, lots 5 through 7, Rain Tree 2 subdivision. I know Chris is our staff, so I'll turn it over to you for the staff report.
Thank you. I'm Chris Valdez, Principal Planner for the town. This review focuses on the sketch plan and early design phase that allows the Planning Commission to provide feedback before the final major site plan application is submitted. As a reminder, there is no vote on the sketch plan. So just to give everybody a little background, the subject property is located within the Rain Tree 2 subdivision. Rain Tree 2 was approved by the town council and recorded in April of 2024. There was a project approved on these lots in 2015. Those approvals have since expired, and we are starting fresh with this application. All the surrounding properties are zoned gateway. Across Beaver Lodge Road to the north is an undeveloped parcel, and the Point at Lake Dillon residential units containing 24 residential units and 4 buildings. The properties to the east contain the Bay Club condominiums containing 32 units within 3 structures. The properties to the west contain the Summit Inn and Adventure Time Rentals. To the south of the property is a hotel use. So this is probably one of our final projects that's still subject to the community plan, not the 2025 comprehensive plan. So the addition of the multi-unit residential units to this area provides a more balanced mix of uses in the immediate vicinity. The units may support the local businesses, which contribute to the local economy, which is 2.1B. And then the proposed development incorporates native and drought tolerant landscaping, which conserves water and uses a proposed drip irrigation. Staff would encourage the applicant to consider incorporating renewable energy resources into the final site plan application, but that is not required. The site plan features a dedicated refuse and recycling enclosure, enabling residents to manage their waste properly and recycle effectively. I do want to mention the recently adopted in October of 2024 Frisco Strategic Plan. It is important to note that these sites were identified due to the potential for housing if the town was able to partner with the property owner or purchase the property. However, there have been no discussions with the property owner regarding partnering on the property, and the town's housing fund does not currently have money available to purchase the properties. And the developer is not required to provide workforce housing with the application. The project complies with the regulations set forth by the Gateway District. However, verification of some items as identified in the staff report will be needed during the final site plan review. And there is compliance with these development standards for a sketch plan level project. Final details on slopes, traffic, and access will need to be expanded for the final site plan application. Staff is requesting that the Planning Commission provide feedback on the design variety, facade articulation, and roof design compliance. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission comment on the use of materials for the project. The design standards for non-vehicular access, refuse and recycling, and landscaping need to be updated before the final site plan application to ensure full compliance with the code, and that's going to be a discussion item later. The application is proposing tandem parking within the garages. There are 2 different layouts for floor plan A and floor plan B. The Planning Commission must determine that the tandem parking layout is functional and complies with at least 2 of the 4 tandem parking criteria. So those are those 4 criteria. And then conditional use consideration. A determination has been made that the use is generally appropriate in the zoning district. However, it is a use that may have particular impacts that need to be addressed. The conditions of approval are limited in scope to addressing the impacts of use on the surrounding area. And with that, the conditional use criteria are listed. There's actually 6. Couldn't fit all 6 on one slide, make it readable. So staff recommends that the Planning Commission provide feedback to the applicant regarding the proposed conditional use to allow multi-unit residential in the Gateway Zone District and any conditions that may be necessary to maintain the integrity of the Gateway Zone District. So those are the 6 criteria. We did receive public comments. The 2023 Frisco Trails Plan and Pathways Master Plan does not show a trail connection in this area, as shown in the picture above, but a picture on the screen. Staff has received questions on the 2017 Frisco Trails Master Plan, stated this recommendation. Connection number 17 was supposed to be a paved sidewalk multi-use path between Beaver Lodge Road and 900 Divide. This area contains multiple cul-de-sacs that do not connect to each other. A connection here would enhance access to nearby bike lanes and the Holiday Inn Summit Stage transit stop. Staff has researched why the trail connection was removed in the 2023 Frisco Trails and Pathways Master Plan and cannot confirm why it was removed. The property owner has stated that there is no access easement on the property and he will not grant one, nor will he build a bike path.
Sorry, Chris, do you mind highlighting what that is, which one that is?
Yes. So this would be a connection from here to here.
Okay, so it's not shown on this map.
No, it's
Okay.
not shown.
Was planning.
It's not on the trails plan anymore.
Okay. Thank you.
And there is no requirement for a trail connection as part of the development standards. And with that, I do have some discussion questions for the Planning Commission to give feedback. Conditional use and neighborhood compatibility. I've listed 3 questions there for the Planning Commission to consider, and also consider non-vehicular access. And then facade design and building articulation, looking once again if there's enough variety in wall planes, textures, and architectural detailing. Roof design compliant or long ridge lines broken up sufficiently. And do you believe the roof design effectively manages snow without impacting circulation or entryways? And last, having to do with the materials and colors and the design variety of those materials and colors. Are they natural or natural looking materials adequately used? Do the color and material choices enhance Mountain Town character? And is there enough distinction in materials between the building types? I will point out there are 6 buildings. We have gotten 2, I will say, architectural plans. So they're going to be repeating those plans for the 6 buildings. But I will let the applicant speak more to that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chris. Next we will move over to commissioner questions of staff. We'll start with Candace.
Can you just flash up again the questions you had for us?
Yes. So if you want, I can read them. So for conditional use and neighborhood compatibility, does the multi-unit residential use align with the intent of the Gateway Zone District? A few years ago, the use of residential in the Gateway Zone District was changed to a conditional use. Previously, it was a use by right. Once again, we don't know why that was changed to a conditional use in the Gateway Zone District. But is the scale and density consistent with nearby developments like Bay Club and the Point at Lake Dillon? And does the design integrate well with surrounding land uses and neighborhood character? And how can the site better promote safe pedestrian and bike access? I will say the applicant pointed out to me before the meeting that where the property line ends, there's a big chunk of property until the edge of pavement. So we'd have to possibly work with Public Works to see if we wanted sidewalks going out to Beaver Lodge Road. That would be something we'd have to work through at final site plan.
Okay, thank you. And then you mentioned this is with the previous, not the latest comprehensive plan.
Correct.
Okay,
It's still,
that's still waiting final.
no, the 2025, so this was submitted prior to the 2025 comprehensive plan being approved.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Okay,
So,
I think those are the only questions.
okay.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks. Okay. Chris, you said that a few years ago, this was changed to be a conditional use in Gateway.
Mhm.
How long? Like within the last?
When I was not here,
Okay.
so that little gap.
Okay, but like so recently, within the last like 3 years.
It seems like it's gone back and forth over time and we're unsure why.
Okay.
Katie, when were you not here?
18-month period. So I've been back for 2 years. So
Maybe 3 to 5 years ago.
it was pushed in a staff report that had a lot of other amendments in it by former staff.
And maybe we were here.
You were here. We don't know if anyone really knew staff put that through because we can't find anything other than it being in the staff report, the ordinance.
I was
And the
very vague.
property owner is pretty,
think,
yeah.
but I don't know if I'm confusing with Silverthorne, but, so it would have been like what, 2020, 2021?
Maybe. The property owner also, the town didn't notify any owners in the Gateway that they were changing the uses either. Just not that they were required to, but this property owner was quite surprised when he realized that he had thought he had a use allowed by right, and then it was now conditional use.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense that in commercial districts, you don't have standalone residential. So that would be one reason. because this is all gateway, right? So which is intent, did you look up the purpose and intent of the gateway
Yeah.
district?
Yeah.
You do. Eight.
So the purpose of the Gateway Zone District is to allow for the development of different types of visitor accommodations, commercial and service-oriented facilities in close proximity to Highway 9 and Interstate 70 interchange area to provide connections to mass transit and multimodal transportation systems and to allow for residential uses as a conditional use.
Okay. So, I can speak from memory, but that's what I remember the discussion being anyway.
That helps.
Yeah.
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 I have to think on that. And like,
Do you have any- oh, did you have any more questions? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm good. That was a helpful conversation. So this was identified as a housing site, and just talk a little bit more about that. It was essentially the consultant came in and was like, these could be housing sites if you do partner with this person. And what I guess my question is, what about this lens would have lent itself to a good workforce housing site?
So it was actually identified, so we have tier 1, which are like town-owned properties. And then we have tier 2, that would be ideal because you've got access, you've got utilities, you've got, they're pretty level grade, things like that. And then we also have the zoning that would, with a conditional use, would allow for, a greater amount of workforce housing than actually, because 34 units are allowed on these 3 parcels. He's proposing 20 units. I believe in the housing plan, they actually figured they could maybe put 84 units
With bonus density.
with bonus density on these lots. So
Okay.
Basically, the consultants took a big aerial view, looked at drones, said, where do we see vacant property that doesn't have wetlands and really environmental constraints? That's where you potentially could put your housing because you don't have a lot of space. And the town right now is at the point where we don't have the money to invest in this. So.
The new, what is this, exit 203? The intersection there, did that play in anything with your review of this, or was it just kind of isolated to this? I would be curious, and we can get to that part of later, just like how the connectivity might play into this.
And I'll make sure whoever reviews that at the time for Public Works and Engineering. Looks at that.
Got it. And then,
send it to CDOT as well for referral.
yeah. And then I guess my final question, and fair if you don't have a great answer to this, if we were using the current comp plan, what might be different in how you would review this or find master plan compliance or not?
That I
And I'm
don't,
putting you on the
yeah.
spot.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. All right, all for me.
I'm not gonna give you a wrong answer, so.
Fair enough.
Can you tell me again, sorry, I missed what you're saying on, they're only showing 2 buildings, but I see 6, so.
So 2 building designs
Got
for the 6 buildings. And do you think that is duplicative?
Does staff feel that it's
You
duplicitous?
can't have duplicate buildings.
Yeah.
So it is,
So-
it's not allowed. So the applicant's gonna have to clarify how they're gonna address how, and we'll let the applicant provide that information of how the other 4 buildings, there can't be 2 identical buildings. It's not
Okay,
allowed.
so my questions are mostly about duplicity, so I'll wait for the applicant. Thank you.
Can duplicity be achieved, like if it's not identical, but very similar with different, I don't know, colors or, okay.
Different window shapes, different materials.
And that
colors.
makes it not duplicitous, correct?
Okay, yeah. I have a couple of questions. I'm gonna get to the conditional use part in a minute, but can you go over the whole thing about a sidewalk again? I was confused.
So, that picture. All right, so where's my map? Okay. So this is like the edge of property is right here.
Okay.
Edge of pavement is right here.
Okay.
So if the applicant is required to, if the applicant is required to put in sidewalks, it'll essentially dump into a grassy area right here.
So
So-
where would a sidewalk be located?
So it would be located along the access drive if you wanted to access Beaver Lodge Road or.
Oh, I see, but not along the road. you're
Right.
saying.
not along the
Okay.
road. So when I discussed with the representative before the meeting, because the recycling and waste dumpster location is over here. So they're expecting people, since this is considered a driveway according to them, there would see people walking down this. And then there's no parking along the road. All the parking takes place in the garages. And then you've got 2 visitor spots here, 1 ADA visitor spot. You've got 2 ADA visitor spots over here, and then 2 just regular visitor spots.
And so that reminds me, what is that? Pointing at the very, where there's a square next to the 2 handicap parking spaces, but is that parking or what is that?
No, that's so you can back up. So it's
Oh.
like, sorry, my mouse is not showing up. Where are you going? Anyway, on the bottom, so that far building C, that last garage has to be able to back out. So what they did is they created like a back out space for,
But I don't know that we're talking, I mean, I can see them being able to pull out and turn, but I'm asking about that other.
The turnaround at the end.
This, what do you call this? Here.
Yeah, it's been on this. Right here.
Can you see this little square right here?
yes, that is also for backup.
Okay.
To do a T-turn.
Okay. And is all this accessible handicap parking required by the code?
No, they're going above and beyond the code.
Okay.
They're only required to do 1 ADA spot.
But they're doing 3.
Yep.
And so again, 'cause on this drawing, we used to cars parked outside of the garages. You're saying that that is not gonna be parking.
So that is supposed to show a car pulling into the garage, like an active motion. So, and then it was also there that should someone park illegally, you could still get a car by that person that's parked illegally in the driveway.
Okay.
And the applicant can address more on the parking layouts. during-
No, I was just clarifying what that was. Can you talk about, sorry, I don't mean to be grilling you. Can you talk about, like you said, the conditional use permits? So we evaluate the use on a case by case basis. We have to meet the criteria in the code. And you said the conditions are limited in scope. Thank you. Focused on addressing impacts in the surrounding area. Can you talk about that a little more?
Yeah, so what that is I'm gonna use planning jargon. There has to be a rational nexus for that conditional use or for that condition of approval. So what it says is that, okay, this is gonna be a residential use in the gateway zone district. You can't ask for them to put in parking for Walmart or something. That's an extreme example. But you can't ask them to do something above and beyond their impact within the conditional use scope for the gateway zone district. Yeah.
Is it okay if Ira joins us?
Yeah, the document Ira arrived at 5:26 PM. Welcome, Ira.
Thank you.
You read your staff report thoroughly, so you don't have questions of staff, right? Just kidding. I'm kidding you. I'm kidding.
That part?
Yeah, we're
I
here all
do have
night.
one question, which I,
Okay, but hang on.
whenever you tell me.
Yeah. By the way, your chair. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
You're not.
Okay, so, sorry. Okay, but could we consider, I mean, it's just, I'm just trying to think of what is an appropriate scope of the conditions of approval. I would think it would have to be with compatibility with, having to do with the purpose of the zone district and mitigating impacts. Can they be, well, I'll just leave it at that for now. Okay, Ira, any questions of staff?
So I did have one question. So are we talking about the project in front of us?
Yeah, correct.
So when you see a multi-building, do we draw a line between a thematic color, materials, roofing versus duplication.
You're looking at both almost as separate topics. It cannot be the exact same building. Katie explained to us like a little
Oh,
bit.
before I
Sorry.
got here?
Yeah, it's okay. It's
Oh,
okay.
I was watching it on, no.
So make sure you're here at the beginning of the final site plan when
Yeah.
there's a vote. Yeah, they can't be the exact building, but they can be similar. They can vary in color, say, or materials
Okay.
or, yeah. And can I weigh in a little on kind of your comment, question on conditional use? Because I admit staff is really stuck a lot on conditional uses. You've had a couple lately. And when we can require, to what extent we can require, in this case, a trail, in other cases, affordable housing. Our conversations we keep asking with our town attorney says that the trail and the affordable housing units are not a nexus for a conditional use. It's more like noise and fumes and things like that, more like offenses. In his terminology, he quoted to us even today. And so we're still digging with him. Chris followed up with some more specific detailed questions because we want to respect the public comments we're getting also. So by the time the full site plan comes, we're going to have a lot clearer answer from him. So we still recommend you provide suggestions and thoughts to the applicant, and then we'll make sure we have the legality of what's required prior to this moving forward on a staff level.
Okay.
Because I would agree, I would argue that we just have to make an argument that something needs to happen for a criteria to be met.
Correct.
So,
yeah. So, and that's why even if you have some suggestions tonight, we can bring them forward to discuss exactly what they are to the attorney before, and then let everybody know.
okay.
So apologize that we kind of have mixed messages on our end that we're trying to clarify.
Got it.
Our understanding as of now is no requirements are allowed for affordable housing or
Right.
trail.
Residential is a conditional use in the Gateway District.
Okay.
Now we will turn it over to the applicant, if you wouldn't mind coming up to the podium, and if you have a presentation. Do you have a presentation?
It's gonna be brief.
Okay.
She'll tell me architect.
Hi.
Since everything is electronic, I could bring up boards with colors on them, or I can refer to the screen, whatever is easier for you all. Would you prefer just looking at the screens? Or would you
Yeah,
like- Okay.
if we could, if
Yeah,
it's the
that's
same
fine.
thing, unless you want to
Yeah,
show us something different.
You can keep that photo there. Let me just address some of the items that came up first, and then I can answer any questions that you may have in addition to that. As far as building plans go, each building is unique, although there are 2 floor plans that are distributed throughout the project. So there are a total of 6 buildings. There are 2- and 3-story in size, 3-plex and 4-plex configuration. And the units on the uphill side of the project are 2-story with garages on the lower floor. Those floor plans are unique from the lower portion of the site, which is 3-story in configuration and also have a bedroom or sleeping room on the lowest level. Those are considered to be 3-story. All buildings, although they may share 2 different unique floor plans, have unique siding configuration, colors, and exterior treatment. So none of the 2 buildings are identical. Each unit, in fact, is unique in terms of exterior colors and materials that are used on the outside.
Do you mean each unit or each building? Okay.
So each building is unique too, but we have a color palette of 6 different siding combinations of 3 colors, 2 different siding types in terms of the wood. In addition to that, we have stone. We also have metal siding. And with that number of different materials for the outside, we're able to use a unique color scheme for each unit. And so although looking at the floor plan, interior floor plan, that may be repeated on some of the buildings on the outside, the buildings are unique. As far as the site design is concerned, we do have 2 driveway access points, and as was pointed out earlier, the edge of pavement of the cul-de-sac and the edge of our property line, there's probably 20 feet or so between the 2. We're extending the driveway, of course, to the edge of pavement. If you would like to see a sidewalk in that zone, we just need to figure out how best to treat that. As far as overall site concept, the driveways which serve all the garages, we wanted to have all the garages face internal, minimize views of the garages from outside the property, and also maximize privacy for glass from the units themselves. So in general, the decks and the primary living spaces, including living space, kitchen, dining, the primary bedroom suites, all face outward of the project, with the exception of the units at the back, high side of the site, those face towards the lake. And then the garages and the driveway are in the center of the property. That gives us maximum landscape buffer around the site perimeter on the property line to the hotel and the property line to the adjacent multifamily project. And then also on the cul-de-sac side. The lot frontage on the cul-de-sac in terms of overall length of property is fairly minimal. It is a cul-de-sac property, so the street frontage relative to the size of the property is pretty small. We are proposing 2 driveway access points that gives us good site flow, but also for emergency vehicle access, as well as the trash truck coming in and out, trying to minimize backup on the trash truck. We do have a full recycle, or we have allowed square footage for full recycle capability inside the trash enclosure. That is the only quote unquote common facility. We do not have a common spa or pool or anything like that. All the parking is also controlled by each individual unit. It is a townhouse configuration where the garage is directly below the unit. All units, in addition to having the accessible on-site parking, will have full accessibility from someone that's parking inside the unit as well. So we have elevators serving all floors, as well as accessible parking within the unit itself.
So I didn't catch that. Does every unit have an elevator?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Every unit will have an elevator. Every unit will be accessible in terms of getting someone from their parking spot up to the uppermost floor. We have a pretty modest amount of surface parking, but that's by design. We wanted to keep all owner parking interior. That minimizes exterior asphalt paving, snow plowing, et cetera. And the parking we do have meets code for accessible surface parking and guest parking. But to be honest, if you own a unit you have a guest that needs some assistance, they most likely will park in the garage. And so there were some comments about the accessibility, or the floor plan variation and the exterior variation. I think I touched briefly on the siding types and the colors, what have you. We have pretty good variation in terms of plane breakup with the decks, exterior fenestration, the stairways, the pop outs here and there. So if you're looking down one of the driveways, there's a substantial amount of variation. And this picture here doesn't really show that too well. I don't know if you want to pull up one that's close, not that one, but there's one close up to that one there. So that picture there is standing adjacent to the property line of the, it's not Grand, what is it called now? Not the Holiday Inn, but White Pig. Okay. So if you're adjacent to that property line, looking back at the project, that's pretty much what you would see looking towards the high portion of the site. All of the garages are on the opposite side of that building on the right. Building to the back of that picture is the one on the high side of the site. And that driveway is curved. So when you're looking down, it won't be just a straight line of buildings. And then the building to the right, that gives you a little bit better feel for some of the articulation and massing change on the facade. The colors that you see on the building to, well, any of the buildings, but the building to the right, you'll see a 3-color palette. Every building though will have a unique combination of those colors and then a combination of vertical and horizontal siding in different sizes as well. So sometimes the fine line between architectural interest or variation and a little bit too much, it tends to be chaotic. So we wanted to have enough commonality to form a pattern and enough variation to give it visual interest when you're looking at the individual units. I think that kind of summarizes up the basic concept.
Thank you.
Any questions? I'd be happy.
Yep, we're gonna go around and ask you some questions. We're gonna start with Ira.
So on the first picture that was up, kind of the overhead, you said there's 2 egress, but that picture only showed the one.
No, it shows both. If you care to pull that back up, I can review that.
Okay, so where's the other, no, there.
So both driveways are a bit obscured on that view. The driveway on the lower portion of the site empties towards the curve on that cul-de-sac on the far end.
On the right side, right?
Yes.
That's one entrance.
Another one empties there as well. It's just obscured on that photograph.
Are
or
they
that
both
rendering.
coming from that curved part of grass or whatever that is?
If you would like to pull up the site plan, I can show you exactly where the driveway entry points are. Okay, so the lightest gray color is the asphalt paving, and the darker gray is the landscaping.
Right.
There's,
See.
and those are the 2 entry points. And we have a really good flow in terms of vehicle access for both emergency as well as residents. Should be very little backup.
And I know the area a little bit. There's really no street parking outside the property.
So there's no street parking. The street Buffalo, as it comes down from Main Road, has no pedestrian pathway either. There's no sidewalk. It's just a paved section with a drainage swale on one side, and there's a fairly abrupt retaining wall on one side.
Oh, and again, I'll apologize for coming in late, but were there comments that they want to have a connectivity to a certain path that's existing? That there's I saw some of the comments. Is that discussed?
Right. Yeah, there's an old
It's
trail.
been addressed?
It's been addressed.
So, okay, never mind. We're good.
So
can give
basically
you
it
a
was
quick
an
summary.
old trails master plan and it went away in the newest trails master plan, and so it's not required.
Is there connectivity available? I mean, does it make any sense to talk about it, or is it a mute point?
Why don't you give Ira the update you got from the owner before?
Yeah, so the owner is not willing to provide an easement, nor are they willing to build a trail. And it's no longer in the 2023 Trails Master Plan. It was taken out between the 2017 Trails Master Plan to the 2023 Trails Master Plan. We don't know why it was taken out, because that staff is no longer here. But it was removed, and it was intentional to remove it.
So in terms of today's conversation, it's not relevant anymore. It's not applicable.
Well, I mean, the public is commenting on it, but the property owner is not willing to give an easement, nor are they willing to build it. So.
And are we talking about this property owner? Okay.
I would be curious though to see where the trail would have gone on this property.
We can show you the
Yeah.
aerial photo. We can pull that up
Yeah.
as I go through your questions and share it. Just Google Earth.
Yeah.
Or do you want to pull up? the
Any other
images?
questions of the applicant?
And the driveways that will be there, they will be open or gated?
No gates.
No gates. That's it for me.
Okay, Kelsey?
I guess my questions are, what kind of application are you doing on the stone? Because we kind of whiplash from white grout. So how are you dry stacking? Are you grouting the stone on the bottom?
The way that we presented it on the color board, it's a dry stack. It's actually Telluride Stone Highlands blend, which I use fairly often. If we do a grouted application, we'll present that to the town as an alternate, but right now we're showing it as a dry stack.
Great. We just want to avoid the white grout, which you've seen on some of the complexes here. And then currently you kind of have a parking lot on your property. Is there an easement there with the owners or?
No, actually the folks that use that right now with Tom's permission will unfortunately for them will no longer have access to that property.
Figured. All right. No question, further question.
We'll just keep going this way and I just ask you my questions if you don't mind. So what audience are you targeting with this project? Who do you anticipate will live here or own these units?
The combination of folks, whoever's looking for these are 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, about between the 22 to 2,500 square foot range. So they're not, I would say not hitting the high end of the market, but something in the middle range because of the size of the units and their multifamily. Single family, probably 3,000 to 6,000 square foot range is pretty comfortable target. These are a step below that in terms of square footage.
But I would argue that these are high-end units.
Well, almost everything in Frisco is high end if you compare it to.
Exactly. So then a couple of questions. Did you consider solar panels?
No.
Or renewable energy? Why not?
Code requirements for any future hookup for solar. Likewise with EV hookup, but no solar panels at this time.
My question is, why not?
You want my personal opinion?
Well, no, I mean, as the applicant, as a representative of the developer.
Yeah. So solar panels, my judgment is it's going to be a while before they become economically viable. And that's the main reason for not doing them on this project. Hopefully someday the technology will improve or there'll be an alternate energy source that would be better.
And I'm assuming these have air conditioning?
No.
They don't?
No
Okay.
AC.
You might want to reconsider that.
Oh.
Did you consider putting curb and gutter
Which part of the property?
along the drive aisles?
We have elevated curbs at each entry where the concrete stoop occurs for the primary residential entry point. The driveways, of course, are flush because of the asphalt going up the garage doors.
But what about the drive aisles?
Well, that is the drive aisle. All the driveways have garages off of them. Anything that does not have a garage door would potentially have a curb. All depends on site drainage design and where the site's being drained. If we have a flow to a portion of landscaping that we want sheet flow to occur, normally we wouldn't put a curb there. If we have opportunity for a V gutter in the center of the drive, oftentimes we'll put the curbs on either side of the driveway.
Okay. And I forgot to ask this question earlier. Those canopy things that are on the rooftop decks, is that meant to be a shade structure? Or?
Yes, those are
Okay.
shade structures. Those will be made out of wood with a metal cap.
Okay. So for the conditional use permit, so you know the Gateway District is intended to be essentially commercial.
Mhm.
And it's meant to be traveler oriented. And I don't, maybe you heard Chris's when she read the purpose of the zone district. One of the criteria is that the conditional use, so what you're proposing, is consistent with the purpose and intent of the zone district. So that's one thing. Furthers the applicable goals of the Frisco Community Plan.
Mhm.
And it's a desirable use that will contribute to the general welfare of the community. So your response is very brief, but how does this contribute to the general welfare of the community?
Well, if you look at the surrounding uses, the two existing developments at the cul-de-sac are multifamily. A commercial project would be much more appropriate fronting the dam road as opposed to the cul-de-sac. And I think for compatibility, a multifamily project there would be the first choice.
Okay. And given the shortage of workforce housing in our community, did you consider providing any workforce housing?
No.
And why not?
No.
Do you know about all the incentives that exist in the
Yes.
code? But still,
So,
okay. Those are my questions. Jess, any questions?
Yeah, thank you. Question about the access, right? Like we're looking at this aerial here and there's obviously this access that does seem like people have used it like kind of where the hotel is and where people are parking on this, let's call it the dirt lot on this property. So that looks like there is one access there, but we're gonna use obviously the cul-de-sac. Is that a legal access point for this property? Does that make sense what I'm asking? Nope, I'm going from the dam road.
This one?
No, from the dam road. Go down,
This?
yep, there, going all the way. Yeah,
There might be utility easements and other
No.
problems.
no, not all the way through, just like to access this property. Yeah, where that dirt lot is. So go, yeah.
There's a 30-foot utility easement.
So right now, it looks like people go from the dam road onto where this property begins and then park in this like dirt lot.
Yes,
And-
that is illegal.
Okay, that access is not legal.
Correct.
So it was always envisioned that this property would take access from the cul-de-sac.
Correct.
Okay. That is helpful. And then I guess while you have this map or this aerial up, would you show me that like conceptual trail?
Yes, so it would go along here is where it was originally, so connecting the edge of the cul-de-sac to this road.
And was that intended to be soft surface?
It was either multi-use or paved. But that was the 2017
Yep.
trails plan. And I actually,
So what's the difference between multi-use and paved?
well, multi-use could be like crusher fines or gravel or something like that.
Okay. It was intended to be multi-use and paved.
It could be either or, and
Well-
or,
But you're right, multi-use can also be paved.
right? But I wanted to show you also. So this is another drawing that I did. So this red line would be like where the trail would have gone on their existing site plan.
Seems like a great place for enhanced connectivity.
Okay.
Um,
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
it's my understanding that the town hired Snow Engineering to study the trail system. And it was determined by them that would create an unsafe condition at the cul-de-sac because there's no pedestrian or bike outlet for that cul-de-sac. And that was the reason why it was taken off the plan. It was at the town's direction from their consultant. Snow Engineering was the consultant.
I don't know.
That's my understanding from Tom.
There's no infrastructure at the sides, at the cul-de-sac?
They didn't want to create a trap and force people through adjacent private property once they wound up being poured into the cul-de-sac, because there is no safe pedestrian path from the cul-de-sac leading out of that area. And that's the reason for that. That's my understanding. I don't have the report in front of me.
Got it. But it still would, like, of the people in this adjacent neighborhood, if they wanted to go get a drink at the hotel bar or this whole area, it would provide them connectivity.
Unfortunately, the flow goes both ways now
Yeah.
is the concern.
Yep. Understood on that.
Even
Oh.
if you put a sign up, they don't pay attention.
Sure. But I mean, yeah, they would go back that way anyways. I did have one other question. Oh, yeah, internal connectivity, as you get closer to final site plan, is that something you're thinking of showing just within the site, like a little pathway for people to walk through the site?
Well, we have, the driveways, of course, serve both pedestrians and vehicles since it's not a high traffic area. We're open to adding sidewalks wherever the town feels appropriate, including connecting the parking area or the units to the right of way. There is no sidewalk currently within the right of way.
Yeah, and I'm just even thinking for the people that live in this development, there is commercial stuff adjacent to them, right? They probably want to have a way to walk there.
The only commercial there is the Holiday Inn. Otherwise, you're walking through private property. Not the
Right.
Holiday Inn, the Snow Inn.
Yeah, well, just, I mean, I feel like that whole little development right there has commercial within it, right? Maybe I'm wrong, like there's the hotel. Yeah, I'm getting some nods here.
I'm not familiar with anything commercial except for the place that does the ATV rentals at the Dam Road. And then the hotel property is the adjacent other one.
To the west. The hotel property.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's some
isn't the
commercial in there.
Distillery there.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, there's not really.
Maybe it's not the most successful commercial, but it seemed like that there is, it is zoned for
Let's keep
commercial and
up
places
there.
have gone in and out.
Or where the distillery used to be, that's not, that doesn't front the property though. We'd have to go through the hotel property to access that.
Got it. Yeah, still, I guess I'm making a point of that, you know, if somebody lives here and there's a hotel and maybe they want to go get a drink at the hotel bar or go rent some skis or whatever might develop in this area in the next 10, 20, 30 years, being able to give them connectivity
I think that's
is something, something to consider.
Just an access point off the property. Once you get to the property line, we would be going into the adjacent.
There's no easement there. I hear what you're saying.
But
Okay.
people do it anyway. I wonder if it was trying to get at this bike path.
Oh, that. Anyways.
Anyway.
Yeah, and then just one last question. It seems like you were proposing above and beyond in terms of like ADA
Yeah.
spaces. Generally, if something's signed for handicap, that means somebody without the placard can't park there.
That's correct.
And we're generally like at a loss for visitor spaces. So just maybe if you can explain the theory behind that.
Well, the required parking for the unit, we wanted to keep in garages rather than weather exposed. We meet town requirements for visitor parking over and above that outside the building footprints. So we actually are over the minimum required parking for the entire site. And all of the required parking for individual units based on bedroom count is interior in a private garage.
You know, I understand that you're meeting the requirement. I just have never, it's unusual, I guess, to see a proposal with excess ADA spaces when usually all of the visitor spaces, like in all the condo buildings around town, are utilized.
Yeah, we are meeting the town minimum on access. The only space that would be extra is we have a van stall with parking on either side of the van loading zone. And that space could either be for public visitors or for handicap. I don't have the site plan up, but the other individual handicap spaces or accessible spaces are required by town. So I don't have a lot of extra. We just have.
One.
No, that's incorrect. It's based on total parking.
Right?
No, it's, you get one ADA for 1 to 25 units,
I think
20 spaces.
It's the accessible spaces outside the unit are based on total parking. And I may be mistaken, but I believe we have the minimum required right now.
I think this is where we have a interpretation that we've came into difficulty where the applicant actually took it the way we'd like people to. Staff frequently isn't sure if you have townhomes or condos or multi-units like these, if you have garage spaces, then do we say you have 60 parking spaces? Or do we just look at the parking lot and say how many spaces are in the lot to see how many are required?
Oh.
And so per the way our code is written, we frequently only look at how many are on the in the lot but I do believe that the architect, I think, is clarifying that maybe we underestimate what he is required to have.
So yeah, we have a total of 60 parking spaces required for the residential units. And I'll leave that up to the town how they want to apply that to surface parking, accessible spaces. Obviously, if someone lives in a unit, they're not going to use one of those spaces. I suppose there's a chance that one or two of those spaces might get used over time, but you're correct, they probably won't get used very often.
So we could say he's accurate, or we say you actually only need one because you don't have a lot of surface parking, and we've never really known the right way to handle.
Sounds like you can do it either way.
You can do it either way. It's really not that critical to the site design. If you wanted to change the requirement on the number of accessible spaces, we can easily modify that. I think it's a great idea to have at least a few guest spaces that are not interior. So if someone arrives late at night, they don't have to access a garage. So I think the surface spaces are real important. What percentage of those are accessible? Up to the town. We meet the code requirements for accessibility with the interior spaces as well. It's not a commercial building, so it's a little unique in terms of the parking requirements for access.
No other
Any
questions?
other questions, Candace? Questions of the applicant?
I just have. How do you feel the tandem parking works in these garages?
Well, because we only had 2 spaces, it'd be a tough go, but because we have 3 spaces per building, my guess is that backspace may turn into storage for a lot of people, putting all their toys, bikes, whatever, trailer. And then they have 2 functional spaces in addition to that. There may be some people that need all 3 spaces for cars, and they can jockey around that one extra space, but every unit has 2 spaces that directly front the garage doors. And that 3rd space would be what I would consider to be a flex space. 3 bedrooms per unit, 3 required parking spaces per unit, 1/3 would be a tandem. So if it were me and I were purchasing or using one of those units, I would feel very comfortable with that. Yeah, garages in Summit County. And oftentimes when you do see a 3-car, that 3rd bay really doesn't have a car in it. It's full of other things besides cars, which is fine, workshop, whatever.
Okay, and then just going back to the pedestrian access and this is maybe a question for you or staff, is that like 9,000 Divide Road private or is that a public road?
It's a public road.
Public road.
I'm unsure if the town has any plans to improve infrastructure. We can look into that
Okay.
before the final site plan.
That's all. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now is the public comment portion of this hearing. When making comments, please identify yourself for the record by stating your name and your interest in the application. At no time during the hearing should the public speak directly to the applicant or to other public members and vice versa. All comments must be directed to the commission. Statements should be brief and non-repetitious. And we do keep it to 3 minutes. And Katie, do we use that timer? Can we, or no? They use it at the council meetings. Okay,
I will figure out how to use it next time.
okay.
Sorry.
Does anybody in the, I don't mind using my phone.
Okay.
Does anybody in the chambers want to make comments? No?
Yeah.
Come on up.
Hello, my name is Dan Ballo. I'm interested in this project because I live, excuse me, I live in the point of Lake Dillon. My only comment would be, there's people cut through our development all the time and they're welcome to do that. We have 2 access points in our development. And I would like to see some type of easement, just pedestrian easement, because I know myself, my wife, we walk over to Starbucks and, you know, that's some, having a nice way to get there would be convenient. And just be respectful for the rest of the neighborhood around you, that's all.
And would you mind signing in for public comment? Thank you.
Does anybody else in the chambers want to give us your feedback? No, come on up. We'd love to hear from you. You're here. May as well.
I'm Terry Golden. I live at the Point at Lake Dillon. I've been there now for 17 years. On the plus side, it's really delightful not to have the abandoned vehicles in that lot. So I'm thrilled that there's a potential again to have this property developed. And just to clarify, we only have one access point into our subdivision, into our complex, and that's via Beaver Lodge Road. If we want to walk to Natural Grocers or the dentist or anything on 9,000 or Divide Road, whatever that is, we do have to cut through what I'm assuming is private property at the Bay Club. And so when getting back to the change with the easement and connectivity for those of us at the Point, and then all of those residents at Prospect Point as well. There is no, I guess, legal connectivity other than walking through the property at the Bay Club on Beaver Lodge Road. I have also noticed just in this last week that the Dillon Dam Road that crosses Beaver Lodge, I don't know if they're putting in a right lane must turn right or if they're putting in a pedestrian pathway there. I'm not quite sure what the design is. And so is that a right lane must turn right?
Bill, we want you to direct comments to the commission, please. Sorry. Thanks.
Is that a right lane must turn right, or is that a
I can
pedestrian?
answer that really quickly. Just, my understanding from the town staff public works department is that that work is occurring right now to relocate a utility line. They're creating a vehicle lane because one lane's being removed and shifted during the work. So it's not my understanding is it's not a pedestrian improvement. It's actually just a temporary construction improvement to keep 2 lanes of traffic going both ways.
Oh,
So that's what we heard it recently.
okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Thank
Great.
you.
Anybody else?
If I can.
You only have 1 minute left.
It's just real quick.
I'm just kidding.
I'm the original owners there, so I've been there, it's what now, almost 24 years. So I've seen a lot of things go, see the country kitchen closed down and that whole thing. And once again, I was mistaken, as Terry mentioned, we only have one access point by vehicle, by our dumpster. People just have made their own trail path to go across and walk their dogs and their bicycles. So that's what I'm just asking is that the scope of the project at least consider pedestrian traffic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I have one more here. Come on up.
Yes, I'm Kathy Blah, and I also am at the point at Lake Dillon. I would like to add a clarification on the previous comments as far as, yes, we all cut through because it is not safe to walk up on the dam road to access, if we want to walk Safeway, Walmart, Starbucks, whatever. That is very dangerous. It is just gravel. And the way people come around there. So we do take advantage of what is available in this proposed project because it's safe. That's my emphasis. It's safe.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, I know we have a couple. Anybody else in the chamber? I'm going to go to the people that are online. Not seeing none. Andy, I don't know how to say your name, but do you want to give us your comment?
You asked them to give their address.
Name and address, please, and then 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Andi Abi. I also live at the Point, and my concerns are that property up kind of on the upslope is a fox habitat. And I know the fox is going to be displaced, and I'm a little disappointed about that. And the other comment I want to make is when it snows and the snowplows come down and plow the roundabout, they place all that snow in the circles where there's no, there has been no opening for, the different buildings. They're going to be very limited on where they're going to be able to put snow to with the 2 openings to the Beaver Lodge Road. And I'm also concerned about the snow removal from this new facility in that, where's all this snow going to go? There's not going to be the amount of space that they've had previously.
Andy, can I ask you a question? Do you mean roundabout or do you mean cul-de-sac?
In the roundabout. They place all the snow and it's extremely high in that roundabout. And it hasn't had the 2 openings that are now proposed. And so I'm just a little concerned about where's all the snow gonna go?
Okay, thank you.
Oh, it's not the round, it's the cul-de-sac. My husband.
That's what I thought. Okay,
It's the cul-de-sac, sorry.
okay. Craig, Kinney, do you want to give us your comments?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Craig Kinney. I'm a owner at Bay Club. I'm on that Bay Club homeowners board. While I'm talking, can you put up the Google Earth picture of this site? I want to reiterate that there's 300 to 400 condos north of this site. And what the other participant said was nobody walks on the damn road because it's dangerous. So all those condos come down from Prospect Point and Lake Forest. They walk through the point. And then can you zoom in on the site a little bit more? And so you look at the east side of this proposed site, but you go a little bit farther east and that's, there's our driveway. I live on that driveway. I've owned at Bay Club for 20 years. On an average day, 1 to 2 dozen people walk down there, go through keep going down with your pointer. There's a small path right there. One to 2 dozen people go through there a day. I would say on a weekend, probably 50 people, and we've had up to 80 people on a 4th of July or whatever. About 10 years ago, we didn't have any signs there on that little pathway. Some kid came roaring through there on a bike and hit one of our residents that was driving out, and they were going to sue us. So we've put signs on either side that are so close you have to get off your bike and walk to the divide road. Those people are not going for a drink at the Holiday Inn. They're going to the bus stop at the KFC and then that path that goes between the KFC and Starbucks. They're walking up to the stoplight at Summit Boulevard and going to Walmart, Base Camp, Safeway, and the traffic is just unbelievable. And we don't want any more trespassing on our land because of the liability. And I'm not blaming it on you folks, but the town never planned for developments 50 years ago. I've been skiing up here for 50 years. They never planned anybody at the north end there. And there's no connectivity, safe and legal, from the north part of town down into Frisco. I would like the town to look at the connectivity and tell me how they're going to get there legally. Or safely. You can't do it.
Thank you, Craig. Anybody else want to comment? I don't see any more raised hands. I will tell the members of the public that are here, thank you for coming. We do appreciate the feedback of the neighbors. You guys live there, so it's good to hear from you. And I do agree with you. I'll stop. Okay. Thanks. So again, thank you for coming. So now we will turn it over to commissioner comments, and there's no motion since this is. Oh, sorry. We're closing public comments. And now we're turning it over to. This application is at sketch, which means we will see it again as with a major site plan application, just so everybody in the room is aware. At staff, does this go to council or is this a final planning commission's decision? Okay. Okay, so now we will turn it over to commissioner comments. Do you want to start?
Sure, I can start. I have one on just like the pedestrian access. I just pulled up the CDOT project and there is a sidewalk that goes to, I don't know how to describe this, not to Beaver Lodge Road, but the one before there. Okay. So I think this is really good feedback from the community in this area as we add development to make sure that we have connectivity. I feel like that's not necessarily a developer responsibility, but a town responsibility. So that's one comment. Another comment, and I think we saw this at the last development, is with a conditional use, is when it's a mixed use zoning, they can meet the commercial height, even if they're proposing 100% residential. And it just, I think it kind of fits here because there's a little bit of precedence, but it's something it just doesn't feel like it fits with the rest of our code, where we're keeping everybody to very strict standards. And then if they get a special permit, then they get to go even higher and build more. So that's just one other thought. I think we can all echo that, like, it feels like a missed opportunity to add some workforce housing when we have this many units. I get the economic component, but it's still, as we look at our community plan and everything that we've been doing, it seems like our incentives are not enough if, like, we have a development of this size and aren't getting any sort of workforce housing. So I think those are my comments for now.
Thank you, Jess.
Yeah, I haven't fully understood this whole connectivity issue. It definitely sounds like there is connectivity that already happens on the adjacent property, and they don't necessarily want the public going through there. It would be great to maybe start a conversation about if they wanted to dedicate an easement to the town could assume the liability. I think this could be a great segue into that conversation, but it does seem sorely needed, whether it's productive conversations with that adjacent property, or it's on this property, or whatever it is. I did pull up some plats, and this property does have, it is adjacent to 9,000 Divide Road or whatever. So like there is a way to get people through there legally onto public right of way. So I just do want to emphasize that does exist. So however that conversation needs to evolve, it does seem like it does need to evolve. Yeah, I think there could be some more variation in the buildings. I think that generally gets dressed up by the time you go to sketch plan to final plan. So I'd like to see that.
Chris, do you mind pulling up those questions?
Sure. I think Candace made some good points in terms of, every time we come in and we approve these big developments and there's no workforce housing, it really does feel like a missed opportunity, although it's not in our code that it's required yet. And the incentives for this one aren't enough, but stuff to look at for future. Yeah, I'm still not sold on the conditional use and some of the comments maybe that Lena was making earlier on that.
And to clarify, if we approve this tonight, are we making a motion on the conditional use?
You're not.
Okay.
We only have to publish it and discuss it, because then you can actually discuss it with the sketch plan, or else
Okay.
you can't comment at all on it. So we don't want a motion until the same time as the full site plan.
Okay. So sorry if I go.
No, I think you summed it up better than I did in some of your questions. And so I'll let you take the lead on that. Yeah, I don't think I have too much to say. I might have more to say, but I think that's what I had top of mind. Thank you.
Thanks. Kelsey?
I really think this is a pretty project. From an architectural standpoint, it looks nice. I kind of like the roof shade things. I feel that it is way too duplicitous now. Just changing colors and things to me does not get you out of that, but it's a beautiful building and I think you can get there with some more modifications. I'm fine with the tandem as there's 3, but again, this needs to be a bigger conversation for our code on how we get projects to work with better parking. Because, snow storage is the responsibility of the builder. It's hard, it's snowy here. I'm struggling a little bit with the connectivity, as I don't like when the last person comes in the door has to solve the problems. This is trespassing and liability, so it's not the developer's thing, but this is crazy to have that many units out there that they cannot safely participate in the town. They're taxpayers in the town. They give us sales revenue. This has to be solved on a whole over there. There's just way too many units. Just like, we don't want it to be a Walmart scenario where somebody gets hit and killed before we build that bike path that's safe. So I think this needs to be put on a priority list somewhere, that we get this neighborhood the connectivity it desires. I don't feel that that falls on this developer's plate, unfortunately, just because they're the last one in the door. And with the conditional use, without having kind of that history of issues of use by right within my tenure on this planning commission, and then now it's not, feels like a tricky situation. Like, I don't have a problem with the conditional use because I feel like it does complement its immediate vicinity neighbors, and that it was a use by right within the tenure. And I don't see this being a good commercial space, as there is vacancy where the old distillery was. We struggle to fill our West Main. I see it as one of those areas that would probably work better as a residential. So I'm comfortable with the conditional use. But my biggest concern is to make that entire neighborhood safer.
Thanks, Kelsey. Ira?
I agree with most of it said. I'll start and say, and the overall, I do like the look of the project. I think, as Kelsey said, there are a couple of items that will need to be addressed to give it a more individual look instead of the duplicity of it. Clearly, for me, I would agree that commercial in that space is not a viable option. As an owner, I wouldn't want to be located there. So the conditional use as residential seems okay. We don't make the code. And I think that the residential use fits and that works pretty good. I'm appreciative that there could have been more units here, because it's 20, I think it could have been as many as 31 or 2. 34. So somewhere we can look at the code that we have and the incentives that we offer, because somewhere I feel that we've missed the boat here, not getting some either on-site or off-site trade for workforce housing.
Yeah.
And as everyone has said, has been pointed out, he's the last one leaving the barn, and he's in trouble here with pedestrian access. And I think it's the town that really, I mean, that has to be a big asterisk from this meeting that has been pointed out, and we'd like to see something legally resolved. And it would benefit all the businesses there too, because I mean, I heard numbers, and I think the numbers could have even been underestimated as to how many people go shop. And with all those businesses that close, there'll be others replacing them with more people wanting to get to the new businesses.
But I certainly think it benefits the applicant too, to have
Oh.
connectivity. So, I mean, I would put that on my plate that, hey, would I want to live here and walk out of this door?
Yeah, it's like Kelsey said, I'm done.
Okay, sorry. So I guess my main comment is that in my mind, I do think it's the developer's responsibility to improve upon connectivity, and especially because it's a conditional use. And they're not really giving us anything a meaningful argument as to how they're contributing to the general welfare of the community. And so I do think that it's your responsibility to improve connectivity in this neighborhood and think about giving us workforce housing that's the true need of the community, 1 or 2 units, maybe even 1. I understand it's not required, but if you are asking for a conditional use permit and you are required to meet these criteria, and I don't really think you're there. I like the look of the buildings. I think, from a design perspective, they're good looking buildings. I do think there's a lot of duplicity, and you can add a little more variety to meet the intent of the code. With the ADA parking, if you don't need the extra ADA parking, I think you're going to need visitor parking and just parking for the residents there. So I would suggest removing the extra ADA parking. And again, I do think each of these units has an elevator. This is high-end development. I do think that you can add more in terms of solar panels, all the things. So And other than that, those are all my comments. Were there any questions we didn't answer?
No, you
Okay,
got it all.
so yeah, I mean, I would especially say that there is, I think, a nexus here for requiring a trail connection, so. Those are the comments. Thank you for everybody who came. There's no motions, this is just providing comments.
Wait, I just have one more comment that.
Go for it.
You flashed something on the screen about like snow on the roofs. Yeah, will the roof design effectively manage snow without impacting circulation? I don't know, I feel like we've run into this a lot, just like removing snow from the rooftop decks is not easy, but so for some of those middle units, it might be interesting to see how that snow removal goes. That's not on circulation.
Rooftops are counted as calculation, right? No.
Like open decks.
Is counted into your required snow storage. Got it.
All right. Great. Now we move on to staff and commissioner updates.
The only things I have for you are there's an extra week in between meetings this month. And so at this point, we are not sure if we will have an August 7th meeting. We have an anticipation of having a meeting. It could potentially have a second sketch plan for 121 East Main Street that you saw, I think, at your last meeting. And then we also have a sketch plan that's, we're asking for a few revisions to be made, but not required before they come to you. And that's for a couple of units at 212 South 6th Avenue. So we expect, is that, did I get that?
South 6th Avenue.
Yeah, South 6th.
That's coming when?
212 South 6th Avenue. Yeah.
So good chance you'll have a meeting on August 7th. But we're trying to get a couple of little details finalized so it's a little clearer for your review. So.
And 200 North 7th.
So are they ready?
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. And 200 North 7th. Go ahead.
Yeah, 200 North 7th. Looks like they're gonna be ready to go for final site plan on August 7th.
The glade.
The Glade. So they've.
That doesn't come back to you as of now. We have been in touch with their financer and they are almost done getting their financing and you should see construction starting in the next couple weeks.
When the snow flies.
Yeah. They missed the summer.
Yeah, well, it's best to dig down in the winter thaw.
The only other thing I had is just an update. We don't expect there to be a delay on our end, but we did, for those of you who have not heard, our town engineer / public works director is leaving. So this is his last week. Next week is his last week. So the town is posting for a public works director and we have an RFP already out for a town engineer in hopes that we don't have a lapse of reviewing.
Was that just built though?
It's a year, 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Okay. There's been somebody since Jeff Goble.
Oh yeah, Chris McGinnis has been in there.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. So
Where is he going? Can you share?
private sector.
Okay. Boo. Awesome. Thanks, Katie. I'll share since I'm right next door to 602 Galena that they have put in the utilities and they are digging in the foundation. So I have a natural alarm clock every day. Beep, beep, beep.
Okay. You all should have been invited to the ribbon cutting groundbreaking ceremony on June 24th. July, thank you. July 20, I want it to be June still. July 24th. If you didn't get that, let us know and we'll track it down and send it to you. It didn't come from us, it came from NHP, I believe. And then of those of you who are here, does anyone anticipate going?
I said I would go.
Okay. We're probably gonna post it just to be on the safe side in case there's a quorum who attends. So.
If you want extra bodies, my wife might want to come.
They sent it?
On extra bodies.
Yeah,
I never got it.
Went to my junk mail or something and I just deleted it. What was your question?
I was just gonna ask.
Forward me what you got and then I can forward it to the planning commission. Thank you, because I didn't get one yet. Okay. We're gonna post it.
Obviously. Okay. So. Is there a reason why it's 2 hours?
They are providing a lunch.
Okay.
They also wanted to have alcohol. We said that's probably really not what we do here in Frisco.
Like at 11 a.m.
They have invited over.
Thanks, Mike.
They've invited over 200 people
Interesting.
to walk.
Right, you gotta live right there. Okay. Like, where are they doing it? Like on site?
Like on the construction site.
Okay. Bring your hard hats.
They'll have a red carpet.
Photo ops.
NHP is in charge of the whole ceremony.
Anything else? Any other updates from anybody? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Passes unanimously. Wait, do we need to vote? Is anybody opposed?
Thank you for the snacks.
Yeah, thank you.
But I will say, I like the way you put it. Oh, I guess we're not supposed to talk about it anymore, but missed opportunity.